Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome back to ASKnowlin, and today we're going to be talking about rational expressions, but this time we're going to be simplifying complex fractions. So let's take a look at that. Alright, simplify the complex fraction. Looks like a lot, but it isn't. Let's go ahead and rewrite our problem here. We got x minus 4 on top. In our denominator, x over 4 minus 4 over x. Now the first thing we want to do here is simplify the denominator. Okay? So in doing so, we want both of those to have we want these two denominators right here to have the same denominator. So I'm going to come over on my side. All I'm going to do here is really cross multiply. So that's going to be 4 times x, which is going to give me 4x, and then I'm going to do x times x, which is going to give me x squared, and then I'm going to do 4 times 4, which is going to give me 16. And now we're going to see how that looks. So x minus 4 on the top, and on the bottom here I'm going to have a common denominator of 4x, but on the top I'm going to have x squared minus 16. Alright, now that I'm done with that, I'm going to keep it moving here. Now, since we're dividing a fraction by another fraction, we can rewrite this as multiplication. And when we rewrite it as multiplication, this is what it's going to look like. X minus 4 over 1 times, we multiply by the reciprocal. So the reciprocal here is 4x. On the bottom, we're going to have x squared minus 16. Now, as we continue to take this a step further, we can go ahead and factor this. This is a difference of squares. So when we do that, we're going to have x minus 4 times 4x over 1 times difference of squares, x minus 4 times x plus 4. Alright, now we can go ahead and simplify, get rid of our common factors on the top and the bottom. X minus 4, x minus 4. So I'm left with 4x over 1 times that is just that, x plus 4. So there's my final answer, and I'm done. Alright, let's take a look at the next problem. If I can get this paper up. Alright, there we go. My bad, folks. Here we go. Next problem. Remember, complex fractions. They look complex, but they're just there to scare us, okay? So, once again, we want to go ahead and try to rationalize this right here. Now, I'm going to rewrite it first. So, I got x squared minus 1 over x, and all of that's over this ugly looking denominator, x minus 1 squared over x, all of that like that. Now, what we're going to end up doing here, okay, is I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this as multiplication. Alright, and when I go back and rewrite this as multiplication, it's going to look like this: x squared minus 1 over x times. Now, when we do this, we multiply by the reciprocal. Reciprocal means we flip it upside down. So that's going to be x over x minus 1 squared. We can take one thing and go ahead and simplify that. Of course, we're going to get rid of those x's. So that's going to be x squared minus 1 over x minus 1 squared. Now, immediately, right away, I notice that I have a difference of squares here on the top. So that's going to lead me to have x plus 1 and x minus 1. And on the bottom, since this is squared, that means I can write it 2 times. So x minus 1 times x minus 1. And what do you see here? Common factor on the top and the bottom. Get rid of it. X plus 1 on the top, X minus 1 on the bottom. Final answer. And we're done. Okay? Alright, let's take a look at the next problem. The last problem. Oh, buddy. And is this last one looking kind of crazy? Alright. First thing we got to do, we got to simplify what's going on in here. Alright? Now, remember, we want both of these to have the same denominator. So what I'm going to do is when I rewrite this, I'm going to put this one over 1. So t squared over the square root of t squared plus 1 minus the square root of t squared plus 1 over 1. Okay? So I want to simplify this. This is my numerator. Okay? I'm not going to worry about my t squared yet. We're just going to simplify the numerator for right now. So when we do that, remember we want both of these to have the same denominator. And we're going to get that by multiplying those two together. So 1 times the square root of t squared plus 1 is just the square root of t squared plus 1. So that's going to be our new denominator on the bottom. And remember, this is still just the numerator. So t squared plus 1 on the bottom. Now on the top, we have to cross multiply. So I'm going to do 1 times t squared. 1 times t squared, which is equal to t squared. And then we're going to do this expression times that expression. So the square root of t squared plus 1 times the square root of t squared plus 1 equals. Now, just a quick thing. When you multiply a square root times a square root, and there's the same thing underneath each square root expression, we're just going to end up with that expression. So the square root of t squared plus 1 times the square root of t squared plus 1 is just t squared plus 1. So I'm going to have t squared plus t squared plus 1. Oh, excuse me. That's going to be a negative. So really, this should be negative t squared, and that should be a negative 1. So this is going to be t squared minus t squared minus 1. We're going to go ahead and simplify the top. Combine our like terms. Those go away. So I'm just simply left with negative 1 over the square root of t squared plus 1. Now, another thing that we need to take into consideration is that we're not allowed to have any square root in the denominator. So we're going to have to get rid of that. And we can do that by simply multiplying the top and the bottom by 1. Now, you can get 1 by doing anything. What we're going to do is the square root of all this. T squared plus 1 over, and then t squared plus 1. Now, you have the same thing on the top and bottom, and when you divide it, it gives you 1. So technically, we didn't change anything with this expression because this is really 1, and 1 times all of this is just that right there. Okay? Alright, so what we're going to do here, we already know that this times this equals t squared plus 1, but we'll still show our work over here. Alright, so t squared plus 1 times the square root of t squared plus 1 equals t squared plus 1 without the square root sign. So I'm going to come back over here. This is just going to be t squared plus 1. And on the top, negative 1 times that is just going to be negative t squared plus 1. And that will be my final answer right there, folks. That. Okay? Alright, well, I hope once again this helped somebody out. If I did a good job, let me know. If I can improve, let me know. If I didn't do that great of a job, let me know. And anything else in between, you got it. Let me know. Alright, I love y'all. Peace and happiness, and I'm out.